Yo, what is going on, guys? It's C-Brev. Welcome to another MLB The Show 20 video. In this one, I'm going to be giving you all a complete guide to Team Affinity in MLB The Show 20, as well as ranking the 30 Diamond Face of the Franchise cards that we have available through these Team Affinity programs in the game right now. So if you're new to the channel, please drop a like on the video and subscribe for more MLB 20 content. And let's jump right into it. Just going to start off with a quick Team Affinity breakdown, since I am calling this video a Team Affinity guide. Most of you know about this stuff, but if you don't know what Team Affinity is, it's a team-specific program that allows you to get team-specific rewards by getting points towards that team's Team Affinity program. So if you want to know the fastest way to do this, I've got a video on my channel breaking down the fastest way to get 50 points in this program and get the diamond card. I'll also link it down in the description below. Otherwise, you can do March to October, which I don't recommend, will take forever. Or if you want to spend a ton of stubs, you can actually do this exchange right here. Otherwise, I have a video on it. Play Showdown is the summary. But let's hop into the rankings of the 30 Face of the Franchise cards. So I'm going to be ranking these cards from S tier down to D tier. I didn't want to give anyone an F tier because it's release week and let's bask in the optimism. But yeah, we're going to front load it too. I'm learning on the YouTube game that you guys click off the video real fast if I don't get to the point. So we're going to be ranking them best to worst. And then also I'll do a quick summary at the end if you want to hear all 30 as a recap where I think they are. But starting off with S tier, we're going to have 3 players who I think you should definitely get no matter what. These are 3 of the best players in the game right now, starting off with this starting pitcher Blake Snell. This Blake Snell is an amazing card for a couple of reasons. One, pitching in general, and specifically left-handed pitching, is a hot commodity early on in the year. There's not a lot of options. They also updated his delivery this year, and it's much glitchier. He comes way over the top when he comes through on his delivery, so this card looks really good. Can hit 98 on his fastball as well. Pretty hard to pick up, and you can use him out of the bullpen if you want to as well, if you decide to go with an opener. So I think this card is really legit. Would recommend. Next in S tier, you guys already know we're going to be looking at Matt Olsen. You guys know I'm an A's fan, but literally no bias. This is one of the best cards in the game right now. 104 power versus right, 90 power versus left, so he doesn't even really take a hit that bad. 58 vision, will play decently all the way till summer. And then his fielding stats, man, 95 fielding, 94 reaction. This is pretty close to a 4-tool player aside from speed. One of the best options in the game, in the entire game, for first baseman right now. I think this card is better than Todd Helton that you can get from the first inning program because of the fielding and the power. So super good card. I'm happy we got a Matt Olsen. And then the last player in S tier, you guys already know, this 89 Joey Gallo. Just an insane card, man. The 28 vision doesn't even hurt that bad because it's early on the year. Lower difficulties are in ranked seasons, and man, the fielding stats too: 86 fielding, 85 reaction, 99 arm strength, and 64 speed is good enough to get to most balls. So this card's completely insane. Definitely S tier. And if you're asking me who are 3 players that you must get no matter what from these Team Affinities, I would tell you Snell, Olsen, and Gallo. But we're going to move on to A tier, and some of these players are insane as well. Moving on to A tier, we got Shohei Ohtani from the Angels. As I said when I was talking about Blake Snell, pitching is at a premium early in the year, and this card looks really good. Also, he has insane hitting stats, as he should, man. If you can get this up, get this guy up against a right-handed pitcher, you're going to have a good time. So I think this card's really good. The only reason he's not in S tier for me is because I don't know how good of a pitcher he'll be. Obviously, it's super cool that he has good hitting stats, but with the low walks per 9, and in the past I've had generally difficult time controlling Ohtani cards, so we'll see how good of a pitcher he is. But if he's even an above average pitcher, this is an insane card. Moving on in A tier, this is one you guys might not be expecting. This Byron Buxton. I'm telling you guys, people are sleeping on this Buxton way too hard. We know from BR the last year that this card has a really glitchy swing, and you aren't going to find defense like this anywhere in the game for a really long time. aside from Mickey Mantle, who's literally the collection reward. So 94 fielding, 97 arm strength, 95 reaction, 99 speed. This dude is going to be running down everything in the outfield. He fits a niche that pretty much only him and Mantle fit right now. And the hitting isn't even going to be that big of a deal. Like, honestly, his hitting stats are not even that low compared to some of the other cards we're going to go over. And his swing is really glitchy. So I think this card can get it done for you at the plate and will have some of the best outfield defense in the game for multiple months. So people are sleeping way too hard on this card. I'm telling you guys, he's the next one I'm working on. This card is literally insane. Please give him a shot. Oh, I already got him. There we go. Moving on to Carlos Santana. Some people may disagree with me on this one. Depends on how much you value defense. But the thing about this Carlos Santana, glitchy swing, switch hitter, good hitting stats, and also has a catcher secondary. So I'm going to be using this guy at catcher for a lot of the first ranked season. Just an insane card to have, switch hitting catcher that's this good. He actually has better hitting stats across the board than Adley Rutschman, who is the World Series reward right now. So I think this card's super good. If you value defense, obviously you're not going to like this card as much. 59 arm, he's not going to throw anybody out stealing. But you can't have it all at the beginning of the year. So I prefer hitting, at least for my catcher. And so that's why I think Carlos Santana is A tier. Moving on to the last three players in A tier, it's a tie between the three shortstops, and all of them are so good. And all of them have second and third base secondaries too, so if you wanted to, you could run all three of them at the same infield. We got Glaber Torres, nothing much to say here. They're all pretty similar cards as well. Well, Torres and Correa are. Tatis is a little bit different, but just absolute goon of a hitter. A little bit lower fielding stats, but still a silver shield for defense. If you're going to run both, I do think Correa is a better shortstop than Glaber, so I would put Glaber at second base if you're going to have both. But let's look at Correa. Pretty much the same card, honestly, just a little better defense, a little worse hitting. Yeah, a little worse versus lefties, but better defense. 97 arm strength for Correa is going to play extremely well. And then finally we got Fernando Tatis. So these three shortstops kind of fit a little bit of a different niche for each of them. Tatis has worse hitting stats than Glaber and Correa, but much better speed. The one thing that concerns me about Tatis is 60 arm accuracy. So if you're using button accuracy for your fielding, it's going to be a little bit tougher, a little bit of an adjustment period for this card as well. But overall, all three of these shortstops are really good. I think you should probably get one of them for your squad at least, even if you're not going to play him at shortstop. So moving along to B tier, we got Yohan Moncada. There's a lot of players in this B tier. I kind of tried to structure it like a bell curve. So there's the most amount of players that I rated as a B. So we're going to be going through a lot of them in this part of the video. Yohan Moncada, pretty glitchy swing, good against righties, which is a plus. Also decent fielding and decent speed. So I think this is a good card all the way across the board, except when you have to face lefties, he's not going to hit for much power, which is kind of a bummer. Luckily, you face righties most of the time, so probably going to move a little quicker through this because there's so many players, and you guys have already seen who I think is the best. Another B tier, Kyle Seager. This card is pretty underrated, honestly. Decent enough stats versus righties, and then reverse splits against lefties. And good fielding as well. This is a solid card all the way across the board, and he will definitely have sneaky power when people try to play matchups with you left on left. So I like the way this card looks a lot. Then we got Juan Soto. The only reason he's not A tier is because of his defense. He might play some sketchy defense out there for you with 70 fielding and 63 speed, but you know he's going to have the bat, 100 power this early in the game versus righties is going to play extremely well, and he has a good swing pretty historically, so good card there. Then we got Ozzie Alby. Some of you might be upset with me that I didn't rate this guy higher, but he has the same issue that he had with his finest card last year, and that his splits against right-handed pitching is just not good enough. You are going to face right-handed pitching at least 60% of the time, if not more. Like most of the time when you're playing baseball, you're going to be facing a right-handed pitcher. So the fact that this guy has pretty bad stats versus righties and insanely good stats against lefties doesn't play particularly well for kind of how the baseball meta shapes up. But other than the stats against righties, the fielding is really good. The speed is above average. Pretty good card, switch hitter. He just swings a noodle versus righties, and I can't get over that. So sorry, Braves fans. Then we got Aaron Nola. I said pitching is at a premium, but this guy's a little lower in the B tier because he's always been super easy to hit, in my opinion. Doesn't have amazing velocity, doesn't have amazing pitch speed differential, and his delivery is really easy to read, in my opinion. Just haven't really found Aaron Nola cards to be good at all in the past. So more B tier, we got Witt Merrifield. I actually wanted to rate this guy a little bit higher because I think he's a pretty good card, especially with that defensive utility. Can play anywhere but shortstop and catcher, which is pretty insane, and good stats all across the board. I actually really like this card. If he had slightly more power, I might put him in A tier, but yeah, Witt Merrifield, in my opinion, one of the best B tier options. Justin Turner as well, very good card, just doesn't have the splits versus righties. For the same reasons that I rated Alby's low, I'll have to rate Justin Turner low, but overall, those hitting stats versus lefties, very good. Not the best defensively, though. Probably want to play this guy at third or second base. Probably wouldn't test my luck with this guy at shortstop. Trey Mancini in B tier, one of the better outfield options out of the archetype of good hitting, poor fielding that you can get from these faces of the franchise. Mancini has a great swing. His finest card last year performed really well. Obviously, the knock against this card is the speed and the defense. 43 speed, you're definitely going to want him in the corner outfield, and 48 arm is really low, but this card's going to rake for you at the plate. Then we got Rafael Devers. I like this card a little bit. The only issue for me is he's pretty much the same card as Yohan Moncada, but with worse fielding and less speed. So he does have significantly more vision and slightly better stats versus lefties than Moncada does. But given that he's not a switch hitter, has pretty similar defense, I think worse arm and then less speed. I just think Moncada's better. But Devers, not the worst option for you. Two more guys in B tier, one of them being Lorenzo Cain. Fairly underrated card in my opinion. I don't think people were excited about this because they kind of wanted Josh Hader, but very good defensive outfielder aside from the arm strength as well. If you guys can't tell, I don't value arm strength a whole lot as a stat when evaluating players. But great contact, decent power versus left, gonna hit for contact versus righties, and 66 speed. Could probably get it done for center field considering how high his reaction and fielding stats are. So I like this card as a defensive option for you in the outfield if you like defense and if you're not going to go for Buxton. And then finally in B tier, we got David Peralta. Once again, one of the better outfield options that we can get. Once again, a guy with low arm strength. The only issue is 47 speed in the outfield is pretty slow. But with the 86 fielding, 86 reaction, he'll get to balls more often than someone else with 47 speed would. And then good hitting stats, solid across the board, good against lefties, great against righties. I like this card a lot, so I think this card gets auto-shifted, just so you guys know. For C tier, going to be a lot of guys that can get it done in one aspect of the game, but not really all aspects of the game. And I'm going to make some fan bases mad, I think. But leading off C tier is Charlie Blackmon. This is an amazing bench bat. This card actually has better hitting stats than Todd Helton, I'm pretty sure. Just almost completely unusable in the field. I just wouldn't start this card with the common defense. It's too scary, but this card's going to rake for you for sure. Also in C tier, we got Brian Anderson. This card's a little different. He's insanely good at fielding, but the hitting stats just aren't there for me. Once again, good positional utility. And his hitting stats don't look that low, but I used the finest Brian Anderson last year, and his swing just didn't seem very good. So this is a good, solid, actually really good defensive third baseman for you if you value defense. I just value hitting a little bit more in the infield and defense a little bit more in the outfield. So that's why Brian Anderson is in C tier. but definitely not a bad card. None of these cards are truly terrible except for a couple of them, so we'll get there. Next in C tier, Michael Conforto. I do like this card. Great splits against righties, decent splits against lefties. Similar to David Peralta, I just think that he is a little bit worse with the vision, and the defense is not as good with the fielding stats. I prefer fielding and reaction over arm strength for the outfield, if you guys can't tell. So just a worse version of Peralta, strictly because of the speed in my opinion, but once again, this would be an amazing bench bat pinch hitter for you. So then we got Anthony Rizzo. I really wanted to rate this card higher because a lot of my friends are Cubs fans, but considering we have Matt Olsen that exists, and first base is pretty historically a deep position on this game, he's going to have to end up in C tier. Good hitter, good defense, just not as good as Matt Olsen, and that kind of settles it since he can only play first base. Similar thing with Josh Bell. This card is going to rake for you. This may be one of the best bench bats in the game right now, honestly, but I just can't justify playing him at first base with 61 fielding, 61 reaction. When you can get similar hitting stats for, and also have the fielding from Matt Olsen. So Matt Olsen has kind of skewed the first base meta a lot, in my opinion, and that's why these cards are lower in C tier. If Matt Olsen wasn't a thing, these cards would probably be higher, but he just has it all. What can I say? Finally, in C tier, we got Yadier Molina. Pretty decent card, and catchers are decently hard to come by early on in the game cycle. So if you prefer defense over offense and you're looking for a catcher, I would definitely recommend this Yadier Molina card over the Carlos Santana card. I just prefer hitting in my infield, like I said, and Yadi kind of swung a noodle bat for me last year, so I'm a little scared to try his card that has even lower power stats. But as far as a contact hitter and a good defender, this card is going to get it done for you. Alright, we're going to move on to D tier, the 4 worst cards that I think you can get from these faces of the franchise. This is the most disappointing one. Vlad Jr. Man, what happened to his hitting stats? I thought they were going to juice this card up. He just has pretty average hitting stats and 62 fielding, 61 reaction at third base. Not a huge fan. 89 arm strength is nice, obviously, but I just think there are a lot better options out there, and I wish his hitting stats were better because they should be, especially the power. This card is just really disappointing. Next, third worst card you can get from this, Joey Votto. Once again, for a lot of the reasons I said earlier about the first base meta, this card kind of tanks lower. Not the best hitting stats at all. Pretty good fielding, but just there's already 3 or 4 better options for you at first base in this program alone. So, not a fan of the Joey Votto. All right, let's get to the 2 cards that I absolutely hate. Second worst card in this program, not even because he's a bad card, is this Buster Posey. Why did they give us this Buster Posey when there's already a 99 Buster Posey as an XP reward? Makes no sense to me. I know someone's going to comment and say, well, what if you don't take Posey right away? And that's a fair point. If you want a defensive catcher and you don't take Posey right away, this is a decent option for you. But for most people, I just don't think this guy's going to get it done. He's even a slightly worse hitter than Yadier Molina is, and just a slightly better fielder. So I don't know. I understand Posey is the face of the franchise, but considering we already have a 99 in the game available right now, it's kind of awkward. So, and that brings me to my last card. This card made me so angry. 86 Matthew Boyd, pretty much completely unusable despite being a left-handed pitcher, as I said, are at a premium. Doesn't throw hard, not great speed differential, very easy delivery to read. Low hits per 9, decent walks per 9, but I'm mostly upset about this card because this could have been Miguel Cabrera, and I don't understand why it wasn't. Imagine we have a diamond Miguel Cabrera right out the gate. That would have been so cool. This Matthew Boyd sucks, and it makes me angry that he's not Miguel Cabrera. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up the video. Just to do a quick recap, we'll do the timestamp now in the description. S tier, Blake Snell, Matt Olsen, Joey Gallo. A tier, and by the way, these are no particular order. aside from the tiers they're in, obviously. A tier, Carlos Santana, Byron Buxton, Shohei Ohtani, and the 3 shortstops, Glaber Torres, Carlos Correa, Fernando Tatis Jr. B tier, Yohan Moncada, Kyle Seager, Juan Soto, Ozzie Albies, Aaron Nola, Witt Merrifield, Justin Turner, Trey Mancini, Rafael Devers, Lorenzo Cain, David Peralta. C tier, Charlie Blackmon, Brian Anderson, Michael Conforto, Anthony Rizzo, Josh Bell, and Yadier Molina. And then finally, D tier, Vlad Jr., Joey Votto, Buster Posey, and Matt Boyd. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments who you're going for first. If you're going to go for that Gallo, Snell, Olsen, or someone different. Are you going for your favorite team, or are you going for the best cards in the game? Let me know. I'm super good about responding to comments, and I love hearing what you guys have to say. And if you made it this far, you're the real one. I appreciate you a lot. Be sure to drop a like on the video because it helps me a lot in the YouTube algorithm. A lot of people were asking for this, so I hope it suffices for y'all. I love all you guys, and I'll see you next time. Peace.